Yeah, so we just talked about, what, I mentioned your name. You're the first person I really heard talk about marginal gains. For those that don't know, my bad. For those that don't know, this is Knox Robinson. Um, I've heard it said, if you could plug your ears, because I don't need you to get any more crazy than you are. I've heard you described as like the mayor of running in New York and maybe possibly LA a little bit, sort of, kind of, so far. But yeah, Knox has been putting in a lot of work. A lot of you have probably seen him on the iFit big screen in front of you, taking you through cool scenes in Africa. You've seen him on podcasts and all that good stuff. But thanks for being on the show, and want to kind of talk to you about this whole marginal gains concept, because you're the first person I really heard talk about it from a running standpoint.
For sure. Yeah, the marginal gains thing, and the mic is okay. The levels are okay.
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
The marginal gains thing is awesome, because I first heard about it kind of coming out of the cloud around Oregon Project, Alberto Salad Bar, as we used to call him, and then also around the Tour de France and Team Sky. So kind of a whole cloud around Team GB and their elite efforts in the endurance sports, in cycling and running. And what they were describing as marginal gains when Team Sky was going out to the Tour de France. Tour de France, we know it's this epic race. They're going up on up the Alps on bicycles, and we know we had our own kind of like drug cheat back in the day who at least one work his way through the top of the peloton. But Team Sky took a total different approach, leaving aside any illegality that there may or may not have experimented with. They took it a step further, and so they traveled with their own mattresses, right? Like, so the Tour de France, they're staying in these little crappy chalets. Some of the teams are still smoking cigarettes, drinking red wine at lunch before they get in the race. And these English guys are like, you know what? We're going to just do everything right by the book. So they brought their own mattresses and they flipped out their own mattresses at the motel. They cleaned the bikes and the chains every night. Like every possible thing they wrote down that they could improve upon. Instead of just being like, it's a race, isn't it? Maybe it rains, maybe it doesn't. They cataloged every single thing in the off season and then thought how they could improve it,
Yeah.
And they called it marginal gains, this idea that like the tiniest efforts lead to bigger things. Now, when you take it into the gray area and you're mixing asthma medicine at 10 times a doctor's prescription, then that might be a little bit of illegality.
Yes, that's a little
but
heavy.
I like the idea of marginal gains for regular folks like us, because what are the things that we can do in our lives to incrementally improve them?
Yeah.
Whether that's improving our relationship or being better family members or getting better sleep, hydrating better, double knotting our laces. And so for me, marginal gains for regular folks like us is the things that we can do when we're not trying to cheat to win the Tour de France, but what are the things we can do to improve our own personal excellence?
I think like the first time when you said like marginal gains to me is when you started talking about ashwagandha. So you were telling me about like, the stress, the stress levels and things like that. And I'm like, in just that concept of thinking about things that are already out there that are, like adaptogens, and teas and things like that. Like all this stuff that's just out there that people are using for just normal stress levels or normal everyday life. That runners, we're putting ourselves through, crazy amounts of miles and stress and torture and sometimes, and not you even thinking about ways to foods and things that we can ingest to make ourselves feel better.
And you make an interesting point, right? Because you said use the word ways. The thing about runners is runners are always looking at other runners. Runners are always like looking at the industry, like who running what, who running how much, and when how much they running, and what shoes that they got. But the whole thing about the marginal gains aspect is they looked outside of cycling to see what they could bring in. Alberto Salad Bar was looking outside the elite circuit to see what else. He was reading white papers on a vitamin supplement that helped old people. He's like, well, I'm training guys and I'm treating them, and they look at old because I'm beating the shit out of them. So let me bring in some resveratrol. Resveratrol is a concoction that's derived from the skin of red grapes, drinking a lot of red wine. And it has an anti-aging, like, red wine and the skins of red grapes have an anti-aging component. And when you concentrate it, it's known as resveratrol. You could abuse it maybe to some performance gain, but it's at the natural market in your local health food store, you know? So it's about looking outside of running, to your point about adaptogens and ashwagandha. Ain't nobody talking about ashwagandha in Boulder, Colorado. Maybe at the yoga studio.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's like something that somebody else is using for the exact same reason that we should be. It's like we just overlook it. Like Cherry Bundy. I gotta get it in there, right? So like Cherry Bundy, it's simple. It's not like there's anything special. It's no special concoction. It's just something that's been known to improve in muscle recovery. So why is like weightlifters using something to recover when you're putting 100 plus miles a week? You know what I mean? Like, so has that helped? Has Cherry Bundy helped you? I mean, because you're always.
Well, yeah. I mean, shout out to Cherry Bundy, but it's the same thing with ashwagandha. As soon as you, as a runner, come around, like, I don't know if you heard of tart cherry juice. Everyone's like, oh yeah, well, my grandmama had that at the natural market in 1982. Yeah. Like, it's there in the natural market. Folks have been known about this. Or like when I was first asking about ashwagandha, I told you my snobby meditation partner was like, oh, we've known about it in the yoga community for years. Ha ha ha. And I was like, well, y'all in the yoga community ain't running no marathons.
Right.
You could have been told us. So, I mean, the tart cherry juice is incredible. All you got to do is go and read some of the research paper, the white papers on those, and the dramatic effects that Cherry Bundy has. Not only, you got to understand how to use it, for instance, with tart cherry juice, or how to use it correctly, because it's not so much a hydration, it's not so much a fuel, the way we think a lot of things we take, but especially at our peak performance phases, maybe not even in the conditioning phase, but at peak performances, that long arc that you want to use, not just on race day, but all your top backbreaking performances in your lead up to that trajectory, that's when Cherry Bundy really brings you back. And it's not so much about recovering from a big race, it's about recovering from the big efforts leading up to the race. Because I was just explaining to some folks yesterday here in LA, in other sports, you always hear about practice is harder than the game, but runners never really do that. Runners like dabble around the ideas and, ooh, that workout was hard, and ooh, that workout was amazing. But your distance runs, your long runs have to be so hard that you're not even getting close to that at race day. Like, why are we waiting to a marathon to have a breakthrough? No disrespect to anybody who's training to have a breakthrough at their marathon, but why are you guys waiting to marathon day to have the breakthrough?
Yeah.
You got to have the breakthrough now. So then when you go to the marathon, all you got to do is just shine and run the time. Cherry Bundy's come when you train in at breakthrough level in practice. That's African shit. You think those guys ain't having breakthroughs out in Kenya in the mountains just without the clock on? So that's when they go out to Rotterdam, they go out to Amsterdam, they go out to Valencia, they go out to Boston. They smooth because they already did it already.
Yeah. And I think too, like, sorry, I think too, like, it's because once you get to a certain point, I mean, I don't know if it applies to I don't know if that applies to everybody, I mean, because earlier in my like running career or whatever, it was like if I had the mindset of like I want to break through now, then I think that I would have probably broke myself, like, because we're not, you are for sure like ready to test certain things and go all out on a day, or not all out, but go to a point where you would maybe have a breakthrough. But then what about like some of the people that are really new to it and they're like trying to break 4.5 or 5 in a marathon? Like, what ways can like that person push to the next level and maybe get close to that breakthrough without like expending too much energy there?
I mean, we're all we're all human. We all have the same genetic makeup. We're all human beings. We're all Homo sapiens, and so most of these principles apply. So whether you're, training to break 4 hours or you're trying to break 2 hours, the concepts of what it takes. Now, obviously, the scale is different, the ratios are different, but the principles about what it takes to train Homo sapiens really holds. And so, sure, we can be inspired by Eliud Kipchoge, but we can also learn a lot from Eliud Kipchoge and apply it to ourselves. And that's the inspirational thing about the Marginal Gains era, right? It's like, it's not so much that this is what the guys do to win the Tour de France. It's like what we can apply in our own life to make our own lives better when, we're living in Biloxi or Bloomington or Birmingham or Brooklyn. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, like, what are you guys doing? Because Tommie, you look like 7 years younger than when I met you a year ago. Are you even training hard enough, B? Because when I met you was looking rough, B. But now, is this a filter that's on the camera? Aaron, what's he doing? You sleeping in a tent?
No, I got I was sleeping on my roof, tent in the
He's
roof.
Sleeping in a hyperbaric oxygen. You look like Michael Jackson in a good way.
No, it's the ring light. I got a ring light. That's good. You gotta get your lighting right. You know what I'm saying?
It's a marginal gain. I thought the glow came from within, but you tell me I gotta get a ring light.
No, it's really, you gotta be honest. It's really.
Aaron, you made him get a ring light because when I met Tom, he was in his basement,
I'm still in the basement
holding the phone. He was like closing the door to the bathroom in the basement just to block out the sound, putting a towel over the door.
Nah, that's the marginal gain. You know what I'm saying? Tommy been tapping in with all these Instagram influencers, and he like,
he got the marginal gain. He got a creative director. That's what I told him. I said, oh, you got a creative director now? Oh, damn.
No, man. Yeah, you got to step it up every now and then. You got to get those. Marginal gains is this ring light. You know what I'm saying? I got the different background now. Stack the shoes up, trying to look like I got a few shoes. You got to do it. You got to do it. And
Knox got the marginal gain because he got that LA sun. You know what I'm saying? That LA sun is perfect lighting anywhere you go. It don't matter. You can be sitting in the car, you still gonna have that perfect LA sun.
But of course.
See, look. Told you, sun don't shine like that nowhere but LA, man.
Not at all, dog. I'm mad. So yeah, we just ran and we was happy. It's 45 degrees. We just ran 18 miles today and we happy about the 45.
I'm capping. Hold on. Tell me. So what's happening?
No, we just ran 45. We just ran this 45 degrees and we was happy. You out here in LA, got the sun that lasts 25 hours a day.
It's hard out here, but I was trying to see right now my own marginal gains. If over-indexing on the volume can, kind of like overcompensate or supercompensate for altitude.
So like because you don't have the altitude there, obviously. So you're saying like push yourself to a more of a fatigued state to grab.
Fatigue, but it's also the oxygen recruitment. It's also the cardiovascular recruitment of a lot of low intensity jogging at sea level in oxygen rich air that might give you like a super compensation effect. So a lot of steady jogging and capillary recruitment and oxygen recruitment is going to give you like a marginal gain approximation of what might happen at altitude in an oxygen starved environment, right?
Hold on, we got some silliness going on over here. Say it's not sitting in a classic Benz. That's what's up. Of course he is.
It's a Benz. How we might say it politely. It's a Benz of a certain age.
All right, a Benz of a certain age. But yeah, man, no, I really do appreciate you jumping on the show with us real quick, and then also for always bringing in these new ideas, and always sharing them. I mean, you don't normally go in depth on them, but it's just you're okay with just like dropping a couple words here and there to have people thinking. And I do appreciate that because that's what it's all about. And, if we don't have people like you ahead of us doing all this crazy stuff and figuring it out, then where will we be?
Yeah, let folks know. You guys know I'm always down for it. Like I'm cool to just like drop a little thing like a joke or like jump on something to test it out. And then if we meet up in person at Boston and go granular, I can do that. I can unfortunately sit up in a bar and write some notes out on a napkin. You know what I mean? I can over text.
Yeah.
So anybody who ever wants to hit up with some questions about anything big or small, I'm always here to cap. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So basically, everybody just heard it. You heard it here first. Flood Knox's DMs on Instagram. He will answer all of them.
Unfortunately, I probably will.
Ask him what your easy pay should be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Let's talk about that.
And then you can get the super.
I'm about to bother you guys in the next installment. I'm about to bother you because you guys was talking paces. I'm a pace guy myself, but I thought you guys was advanced. You guys are younger, smarter. You're more plugged in. I thought you guys would have been more sophisticated. You guys are still talking paces. You guys sound like cavemen.
No, we learning, dog. We learning. Like just like last time. Last time you talked to me on this thing, I was in a dark basement with, looking like I was 80 years old. We grow. We growing, man. We new to this.
All right. Well, let me see some heart rate data from the Coros instead of talking about paces next time we talk.
Oh man, no, you don't want to see my heart rate data from today. We're not. We're not
exactly.
I'm past flying colors.
Well, we gonna see Aaron after we gonna debrief after your race.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And then we'll take it from there too.
Oh yeah, for sure.
All right, bro.
Tommie, one more thing. Let folks know Boston side Roses is gonna have a shakeout on Sunday morning.
Okay.
I'll give you guys the information from our pub called the Black Rose.
Oh, dope.
Yeah.
Dope. I'm there.
So I'll see you guys in a couple months' time.
Man, it seems like it's right. It seems like it's flying up. It'll be
here in no time. Hey, thanks a lot, man.
All right, man.
Reserve it all, guys. I'll see you guys in a couple weeks, a couple months.
For sure.
Right. Bye.